Welcome to Big Game James TV. I had a couple little inboxes on here telling me to speak on this topic, so I'm gonna speak on this topic. Something's talk to the serpentine and the dragon, so say. Um, Here's the thing. We were sitting there driving in one day, and my sister goes, "You ever notice about the clouds?" I said, "What you mean?" She said, "Cause we go past the mill. There's like a local mill where we're at." And you got the smoke chimneys. The smoke chimneys was in the air. You see it, the chemicals and stuff come out. It started coming out. It looks like clouds. So she says, "Yo, I never thought about this shit." And I said, "What you talking about?" She says, "Did you ever think about that the clouds might necessarily be the dragons breathing?" I said, "Wait a minute, what?" She said, "Look over there at the chimney spout over there by the mill. So you see the smoke coming up in the air, it looks like clouds. And we all know it's chemicals, it's heat." She said, "How do we not know that there's these dragons that we're supposed to be on that's blowing shit out their nose?" Now, I told people from before, the volcanoes is the nostrils, because when you spit this fire out and shit, that's what that's what I do. Do your own research, what I said. But here's the kicker. She also said to me the other day, she said, "Yo, you ever notice the wall of China?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You know how big that fucking wall of China is?" She said, "If you look at it from the bird's eye view, it looks like it's the shape of a dragon." I said, "Wait a minute, what?" Now, mind you, over there, their cultures, they do stuff with the dragons and stuff. They do the parades and stuff. They got all these different colored dragons and stuff, 3, 4, 5 dragons over here. Now, she also said, it's gonna fuck you up now. On the wall of China, they got these emblems of dragons. Each dragon, they have different dragons on this wall. I'm not going to tell you exactly what they are. You got to look it up. She said there's dragons on this wall. She said, now, what if, because they all did this research and stuff and said, how is it the wall of China that they were trying to protect herself from the outside when it was flipped the other way around, like it was protecting something from coming from in to out? What if all this time the Hong Kong, the Asian, the China, Japan, what happened if these boys knew? Because the Buddhas, the monks, all that stuff, okay? So this is fucking mind blowing right here. So what if the wall is actually protecting them from these dragons? Let me bring that back to you. What if that wall, all that history stuff they talking about, was all fake? What happened if it was to protect them from these dragons? That fucked you up, because it fucked me up when she said that. I said, wait a minute, this is some crazy, scary shit here. So, yeah, it's a possibility that that's what it is. I was like, man, I'm looking and I'm seeing this. I said, wow, this is crazy, man. It could be a possibility that these boys is protecting themselves from these dragons that's supposedly being woken up. How do we not know that they've been talking about that? And it irritates me, because we sit there, we talk about history, we talk about the dragons and the dinosaurs. Me personally, I always said the dragons to me never made sense, because when you're looking on these walls and the pyramids and all this stuff, they had nothing on there about dragons. They had stuff on there about dragons. They didn't have nothing on there about dinosaurs. So it's like, they just slowly, surely pushed us to the side. Now, y'all remember that one time traveler they caught, then he disappeared. He said at one point in time, we were going to have war with talking dragons. The talking dragons are in mountains. He said, we all know about this, okay? He also said about us finding giants in this world. They found giants in Africa. There's an 8-foot tall persons down there. They also got these people down in this village down there that look like the Avatar people. The face paint, everything looks like these Avatar people. And they talk like them. They dance like them. They move like them. These people are like 8 feet tall. Y'all got some explaining to do to us to tell us what's going on here. Why is y'all, well, yeah, whatever. But at the end of the day, I tell everybody, do your research. Like far as the dragons go, the giants and the mountains. See, y'all boys fail to realize they show us everything on TV. They warn us on TV. Like that movie Troll that came out, Troll 1, Troll 2. If y'all didn't watch that. It's going to fuck you up. Because everything they describe in that movie is what they're saying happens. Now, they had one guy that talked about it. He's filmed some stuff on there. He disappeared. It is what it is. There's a lot of phenomenal stuff coming on. Pandemic stuff coming on. And everybody's paying attention to it. Just for example, all this snow coming out. Now, it dawned on me. Check this shit out. Reason why the snow don't melt. You realize how we were growing up in the early 80s, the 90s. You go outside, the snow's bright as hell, fucking your ass up. You know what I'm saying? It's just all, and then you're looking at, you see it, crystals and stuff. You know what the crystals are? The crystals is metal, okay? So here's the thing. Remember that it was a blizzard in 93 where everybody was bitching about the snow that they had, the Megadon snow that came out, and the snows were so high and piled up. They were talking about, oh, put them in the river, put them in the oceans, and they wouldn't put them in the oceans. Here's the thing that I got started paying attention to. There is less and less. There's more and more metal in there. This is what I think it is. Okay, the snow melts from the metal, right? The metal and the snow. So the sun comes down. The sun rejuvenates. It charges it. When it charges it, you know, from the metals. What happens when you heat the metal? When you heat metal, what happens? It cooks, it burns, right? So I think that's what happens with the snow. That's the reason why we get rid of the snow. So that's why the one year when we had that mega storm, they called it the mega snowstorm, and then they called, you know, blizzard of 93. That one year they got mad. You know, them 2 years that we had that shit there, them time periods, they got mad when we started talking about, oh, we're going to put them in the ocean, we're going to put them in rivers. They got mad. No, you can't do that. They can't pollute it. And I'm sitting there to myself like, if it's water, why do you care if you put it back into water? I understand the overflow situation, but why would you care? Why? Because they knew it was chemicals in the snow. Let me rewind that. There's metal in the snow. The sun, when you heat something up, when you put a lighter on the metal and you start heating it up, what happens? It burns, it starts trickling, it starts burning. So if you put water on a spoon and you melt, you heat it up or put it in a pot, what it do? It burns, it boils, right? That's what the snow does, how the snow melts. Without that metal being in it or without the real light that's in it, because see, you got LED light. LED light, when you put LED light against metal, what happened? It doesn't cook. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't cook. There's no radiation to it. So when you do that, that's why that's why we can't get rid of the snow. The snow can't melt. Why? Because that light that y'all claim that's the sun, it's not the sun. It's a light. It's LED. You cannot. So if you have an LED light right now, just try it. You have an LED light. Put a damn spoon or a quarter or dime underneath this light. It's not going to melt, right? Pay attention. Even if you have 1 million particles of steel and you try to melt it with the LED light, it's not going to work. Why? You need a chemical reaction. What do? You light it with fire. That's how you burn metal. Fire. You can't burn metal with light. You get it? You got metal in the snow. You can't burn the snow with a regular light. Stay dangerous. SB salute.